welcome back to the second half of Hacking Infinity, the Eschaton. So, there are these pretty silver balloons that for some reason are objectionable, um, and
Why?
yeah, they're pretty. Uh, and there's also a you could call it a distress call from that part of Erethin that is on Quasi's ship,
Mhm.
saying that this our new friend is saying that it's time for everyone to die. Uh, Help.
Um, so what I would say is because he was taking Erethin with them, is that, or am I just misunderstanding that? Or were you killing us as well?
Blowing up the ship, right?
No.
No, I'm not murdering them. And obviously, like if they stay on the ship, they will explode and die. But I'm not going to try
Sure.
to keep them on the ship or anything like that.
Okay. Um, yeah, I think they mentioned that, and then it's the response is, all right, we have your downloads ready should anything happen, and stay with the goddess as much as possible. Continue assisting our friend.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think they have any problem with that.
I mean, the goddess is flying away in a pod.
And they're going to be flying away in a pod next to with. We have our own ship, so if you like disabled your own systems, I'm like, oh, we came here on a ship. It's okay.
Oh yeah. So they're not on a pod. They were on. They just walk
They have a
across an
small ship.
umbilical to their own ship and take off.
Yeah. I mean, one of the first things I did was kill one of them when they got there. So death, like we've established, like death has no permanence here.
No teeth.
Yeah, got little baby teeth, little tiny nubbins. Just somehow worse.
Yeah, I mean those nubbins can sometimes like eat up a memory or something like that. But
Exactly. Don't want that.
Mild, really.
We are our memories. It is what makes
Change
us.
the way you look.
Yeah. Yeah. I just thought maybe that's why we've allowed the subsect to exist, is because we've sort of like cordoned off that emotion into that like specific group so we can study it. But they don't know that. They think they're working with facts. I don't know. Maybe that's
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's fine. And then I start getting alerts near the landing zone of unauthorized paraphernalia in low atmosphere dispersal at this rate at this time. And I think I'm like, oh, well, that's okay. So, and then I'm like, well, that's interesting. And then
That's one way to describe it.
yeah. And when I say I mean like the network of myself on this planet, not specifically the Erethan core prime. They're observing, but they don't get involved physically. So I think this is a okay, here, I'll ask it. Guys, do I want to send a test group out of the squee to see if they can understand enough to destroy these balloons? Because I thought about using like releasing a bunch of like hummingbird type things that just like pop them all. But as we all know, the squee have a particular ability that makes them good at popping things too. So maybe this can help further that uplifting thing. And I think if
I should
fails, I
mention
get
that.
XP.
Yeah, I should mention, to be fair, that I'm describing them as balloons because that's what they look like.
Oh, sure.
But
See,
you have not yet
you
analyzed.
said quicksilver balloons, which means I'm thinking of the extremely heavy metal, mercury, which makes me think that the atmosphere is denser than mercury. So that an incredibly dense heavy metal can float.
I think
No, I think the atmosphere. Yeah, the atmosphere on Isopod is fairly close to Earth normal, right? It's just that it has like this extreme flora and fauna.
Yeah, and I think the temperature is extreme as well. I mean, maybe that was a different one.
No, I think that's because I remember you specifically chose the planet to be Isopod because it's like light on one side and dark on the other.
Well, either way.
But
So-
it's not super dense atmosphere. That was
Yeah, all right, it's not that. So I think high seasonal temperature variation. What I want is I tried to get information so I'd have somebody like while I'm assembling my semi-intelligent species to sort of go out and say, "Oh, sorry, friends, you can't do that here," before reacting aggressively.
Sure.
And try to get more information on them before they as they're sort of going out, but before they hit
Much population.
untenable dispersal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That would be
duress?
under information moves. I think it scanned the mindscape about them.
okay, search
I don't think
mindscape.
it's. Yeah, I don't think
Okay,
it's
'cause
so tense a
there's scan,
situation
and
that
then
the
there's
scan
search
would. Yeah.
Okay.
Although I mean, if you want to argue for scan instead, given that
Uh,
you are
I would
effective
almost
and
act. Is there a description for act under duress? Because even though I'm not being attacked, there is a just a feeling of, or is that more physical in the moment things?
yeah, that would be if they were effectively doing a move on you right now.
Oh,
you could
alright.
act under duress to
Okay,
resist.
all right. So I will search the mindscape.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Huh. Fun times continue.
I mean, you promised us that you would roll bad. I'm kind of
No,
disappointed
I
now.
said I would roll bad if they continued, but you rolled an 8, so that made me in the free and clear.
I see.
Yeah.
Fair
So,
enough.
Oh, I feel
Easy.
cheated.
you hadn't tried to hack the grid. Don't wait. I've got another roll coming up.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll get some red on that screen.
Yeah, this is just
But I'm
gathering
expecting great
information.
things here, so you know.
This is the top of the roller coaster before it plummets down.
Yeah, hopefully we can see some red when you act on that information.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't worry. I got you. So
Ask a question from the list, and then you can ask a follow-up.
okay. What are the primary security measures protecting these balloons?
There seems to be a large amount of data activity going on between them and within them. At least on the order of the sort of information flow of a human mind.
Mhm.
So
Do I think it's a? I mean, that'd be another question. I don't
Uh,
want to ask.
so uh, there are. I mean,
But I
I
think
don't
it
want
was
to
a
use like
collective.
cyberpunk terms like black ice or anything like that. But there are uh, like the sort of high level scan does uh, does show that it's not that it's not completely open. There are in fact like significant like
They're not
defensive
just
security
loons. They're
measures.
like they're data banks. Okay. Um. hmm. And they're individually that oh that dog.
Hmm?
You see like a tiny little poof.
Yes, yes.
Um, this is important to point them out whenever you see them. Um, see something, say something. So, um,
Especially when it comes to cute animals on the internet.
yes.
Totally.
So,
Yeah, it's
do you
I
have
have a question I want to ask, but it's a
Uh-huh.
where and not a how. Um, where can I find? Hmm.
Oh, you
What
want
is the
how can you find
relationship?
blank rather than where can you find blank?
What is the relationship between these balloons and each other?
Huh. They they seem to be a single distributed intelligence.
Okay. Um, okay. Uh, in which case, near the landing zone, I activate the. Um, I, am trying to find a nicer way. The festive dancing welcome snakes that shoot out around it and like confetti streamers and just sort of like wiggle around. But what they're doing is actually like containing this swarm of intelligence until I can properly greet it. So there's like sparkles of confetti, and then these like when you get like those reams of paper that are just like you unfurl them and like pin them up. It's like that, except it's very dense, and like if you watch it for a little bit, there is a pattern, like a netting. Since you said these balloons don't go too high, but they also do reach like the size of a house. Like it's
Okay.
also if something were to happen on a landing pad and you don't want the city to see, you're like, oh, it's a party thing. Sort of like a visual screen as well as a containment field. It's my version of a containment field.
Yes.
Just yeah,
Okay.
basically.
Uh,
And then I have I go to talk to them. I go to greet my guests.
Okay. So I think we do need to do a roll for having this containment field, at least
Sure.
Effectively.
And it's convenient acquisition.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I think that so let me see. They just physically keep they perform they're a visual barrier and they physically keep things from like just floating through them.
Yeah, there's a like they also might have like if there's a laser blast, like I don't know, of future stuff. There's layers of them to protect against like if there were to be like, oh, a ship's about to explode, they could like net over and like and like contain it. But they're basically like a shield. Imagine a shield but made of confetti strings.
Confetti shield. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be it just be like a too wuffy thing.
Yeah, because it can't hack. It can't like infiltrate somebody's body. It's not.
It's just a physical barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah. That can be deployed, where needed dynamically. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Too wuffy is your opposition here.
So fast that too. I succeed partially.
It has not updated on my side, but I believe you.
Oh, you got a 9.
Okay.
I mean, that's already a good start. Now the next one should be red, right?
There he goes.
I mean, unless you want to use your person on the ground to help me.
I mean, how much are you offering for my help?
So, we've determined that your person hasn't infiltrated my space.
They're just
they're
present,
just
but their
there.
power is very limited.
I think
It's like they're being stonewalled.
Because the capitalists aren't trying to be very sneaky about their presence in our system, is that Brad, would he know the capitalists as a competitive business trying to gain wealth and influence in the area, therefore making any move against them useful profit-wise?
Well, okay. So we haven't determined what Roger's relationship with with Capstone is.
Yeah.
Certainly, they it's indeterminate whether or not whether Erethin or Capstone is more favored by like meta society, but clearly Capstone does have more resources available to them.
So
I mean, but I've already probably milked Capstone for what he's worth, and I'm now interested in.
No,
No,
you have not.
No, I've not. Okay.
Capstone is like the big bad.
They are a multi-system corporation. Multi-solar
I mean,
system
sure. Like,
corporation.
I didn't mean like milk them for what they're worth in the sense that they don't have anything anymore. I mean, just I've already made deals with them and gotten stuff out of them. But it vexes me that I haven't been able to get anything out of Erethin. So I'm much more interested in getting stuff out of Erethin, I think, than getting stuff out of them.
Capstone versus Roger's thing, I think of like a corner store like loan shark versus like Enron.
Sure, but I imagine as intelligence agency, I might have had dealings with them. I don't mean like I own them or whatever in that sense, but I mean I've profited from them because I did something for them and they paid me.
Well, okay, it's certainly up to you. Which side in this conflict you favor, and for what reasons. But I think there's if you wanted more from Capstone, there is definitely more that you could get.
Also, if they influence my people, the less
have I
you
got
get.
stuff from them in the past? Would that be plausible?
Yeah, sure.
Then, I feel like sure, there's maybe more to get from them than from Erethin, but I want to get the thing from Erethin and I'm not getting it, right? That's like it's
Sure.
emotional. It's not necessarily logical because Earthen is the biggest and most valuable. It's more that I've already gotten stuff from them, so I know that I can get stuff from them.
Sure.
But I just can't get stuff from Earthen. I have to,
Yeah.
So if you were to grant me a little more access into certain areas, then I'd be more than willing to give you a hand.
I have a facility that your organization will be able to use. I'm sorry. We haven't had this conversation earlier. You could always
Wonderful.
ask.
Yeah, no, of course. My bad. Totally. So, what do you need from me?
I need 1 point of help.
I know I can
Mechanically.
They're under.
I know exactly where to put you.
Okay. Under support support moves. There's aid or interfere.
Okay. Support moves, aid or interfere. Not a problem. You get all my points.
All this green. Ah. Okay.
How are we doing this?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's the opposite of when guest stars come in
cheating.
other shows and always die. It's just you have all this luck stored up.
It must be.
You know what it is? Like
Okay.
you're outside and you're like, oh, all this luck's on the front porch. They just never came. Oh, I'll just bring it in for them.
You know what? I have a game on Sunday evening,
Mhm.
and that GM is, we're happy to still be alive. So I think it's just from that, I've built up enough karma, and now I'm bringing it all to this game.
Nice. Thank you for sharing.
Hey.
12.
I'm glad not to be in the process of dying right now.
Excellent. Okay. Brad, I defeated you again. You capitalist scum.
Okay. So yes, you have the barrier, no problem.
I will put.
You've always had it
I've
with
always
some
had it.
help.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that this conversation happened a while ago, when they
Yeah.
were trying to set up their barrier,
Mm-hmm.
and my agent just happened to be present and, willing to provide necessary materials.
And for Adalaska, it's every color, all mixed together in no discernible pattern.
You aren't even doing color serialism.
No,
Preferably horribly contrasting colors together, right?
yeah. There's like orange and blue and then like a puke green, but it's all like blurred together.
Oh, I love orange and blue. Oh.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. Confetti shield.
The only times that orange and blue together are okay is if you're portaling from one place to another.
Whoa, I had like PVC orange and blue trousers when I was like 15. They were great. How dare you?
Did they
They
let...
were not interdimensional pores.
Well, see, I mean, it's okay for you to find them great, but they
this
didn't.
is- no,
I mean, your
no,
shorts
This
didn't
is
help
an
me
American
portal
rule.
anywhere, so I hate them.
You see, this is some snake in the grass bullshit where it's like, oh, it's okay. You can like not like, blank and it's fine because it's just opinion. No, artistic merit is a thing. Art is not subjective. It is objective. The Wire is the best fucking TV show of all time. That's a hard fact.
I've never seen that. Should I?
I haven't either. I've heard
Yeah, it's
good things about
literally
it
great
from
television
people.
of all time.
Yeah.
It's, pinnacle of the genre. Game of Thrones is amateur garbage hour compared to that. Sorry, I
What was
got
the name of
shit
the
on
show?
blue and orange, and now
The Wire.
The Wire.
Great.
No, I haven't seen that either.
That's the cop show, right?
Ah, that's a
Yeah.
gross oversimplification. It's really
With bald guy?
mm. No, that's the Shield, you cretin. How dare you? Stop. You're playing with them anyway. I'm doing it. Taking up everyone's time. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We have to stop the show,
blue,
watch
orange
Bald
works,
Wire. We'll
Sorry.
come
Yeah.
back.
And Okay, so I can't address whether or not it is the best of that genre. Uh, it may well be, but
Not of the genre, Brad. The medium of television.
no. Now you're trying to encroach on the Expanse's territory, and you should not do that.
Do you mean TV movies? Because The 10th Kingdom was pretty good.
I've not seen the 10th Kingdom. Chat to me about it while we continue to not play this game.
It's very tropey, and it's got a twee main character, and she falls in love with a wolfman. And there's a singing wedding ring that gets inside a fish, and there's fairy tales, and there's John Larroquette as a repairman, and it's just...
Sorry, I heard and she falls in love with a hoof man.
Oh, no, sorry, wolf. Very
A
Right,
wolf.
okay.
Oh,
Makes more
okay.
sense. Okay, I was
Yeah.
literally imagining
Yeah.
a man with hooves, like a satyr or something.
I heard
Yeah.
Poof Man. I was thinking like a
I
Stay
heard
Puft
Poof Man.
Marshmallow Man. I was like, this is very strange.
I would love a poof man. I mean,
Yeah.
but anyway, I'm sorry. I do this sometimes. Please.
The things that are important to you are important to us.
I don't believe you.
It's a
Bill.
sign on that planet.
So, Aerothin, you have the Quicksilver balloon thing contained.
Mm-hmm.
And you do get you do notice that there's a new contact request on your Mindscape. It's not it's not the highest priority, but there it is, and it looks like it's.
Anything that, if I'm dealing with a situation and then like another thing comes up as I'm interacting with a new thing, I'm like, obviously they're the same. So, yeah. I don't accept friend request, but I.
Okay. Well, yeah. I
I'd
mean,
yeah.
it does like identify itself as being affiliated with Capstone ISM.
Mhm.
So it seems there's every reason to think that it is this and it's not Jacqueline. So there's every reason to
Sure.
think that it's like this balloon entity that wants to talk
Is
to
this
you.
another one of the personas, the collective persona, that deals with collectives, or people who don't want a physical body to interact with? So we talked about Capstone as having different, like for Atalaska, it's got the like cool like sunglasses on sunglasses, like popped collar, snowboarding, like extreme 3000. What was it? Something dragon tree flame. What was the name?
No, we had
Something
met-
over the top.
T-Rex.
it was Delan or something, I believe.
Yeah, there was a dinosaur or
Delan.
something.
Yeah, it was Delan. He was.
Yeah.
He had this business going on.
The frill, the dinosaur frill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he's
What's
here
up,
with another
guys? It's your
tutorial.
binary entity, Delan here. I'm just doing some snowboarding while eating
I'm just-
sushi.
periscoping from the coolest club in this 3 sectors. So
I see.
and the one I
So
dealt
they
with
marked
was
well, huh?
yeah. So the one I dealt with was like a child-like version who had like toys and everything everywhere because I'm more about like being friendly and being open. And I imagine there's some sort of like insectivoid for
I was going to go with giant undulating boob.
yeah, it's just a single boob.
With mandibles. With mandibles.
I bet Rogers would be a really boring businessman.
Yes, it's
Like-
it's like a slightly different version of you. In
Yeah,
like a slightly
a-
different shade coat.
A very professional, like boring representative, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
one of the adults
Probably
in the
'cause
room.
I just expect it to be some kind of like sly, sleeky, snail kind of type.
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, I greet them. I send out I don't send out anyone. I greet them in the mindscape, welcoming them.
Hello, Aerothin. Thank you for allowing me to to visit your planet. I'm Ubiquity.
God, that's so good. Um,
I do appreciate the opportunity to at least exit uh, the our transport vehicle. It was rather cramped, but I have to admit that I would be a lot more comfortable if I could spread out a bit more.
oh,
I
I'm
mean,
sure.
your
Oh,
city is so beautiful. Would love to be able to uh, see and experience it.
um, I think where the capitalists landed aren't like in the core of the city. It's kind of like out, and I'm definitely like doing scans and counting all the balloons to like do a head
Okay.
count, like for kindergarten class. Let's say
Yeah, there's
I'm just trying to think of the voice to use because I don't think main Earthen would do it. I think like a kind of like darker skinned, uh, like the secretary from an earlier scene, like in the secretary dress, but with like Jetsons rings on it for some reason. Uh, Kind of like with like a bevy of other secretaries behind her. Um, Almost one for each of the like for
yeah
each class of balloons.
yeah. So you're counting there's probably uh about 1,300 of them.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of balloons. Um, so I say, what's a phrase that that New York accent? I don't know. And she's like, well, that's lovely, dear. Now, we're just gonna have to do a little bit of organization because we weren't expecting such a large contingent. Well, just
Oh, we
gosh,
promise not to. Or I promise not to deplete your resources. We're
no,
I'm
no, that's fine. That's not what we're worried
ordinarily
about. Just,
okay.
we want to make sure everyone has an excellent time, and you are just a delight to behold, my friends. You are just great, and we want to make sure
Thank you.
that nobody here is left behind or bothered, because some folks come in here for a quiet, relaxing vacation, and we just want to make sure that everyone sort of understands the limitations and visitation rights, because we have we have, as you may have been aware, we have a frequent visitors program. um, that's kind of little broke there. And just here, we want to make sure that you're sort of well set into the way things work, um, and make sure you're as comfortable as other guests.
Oh, of
Um,
course. What can I do to help?
uh, well, we have as this is your first time on our planet, we have a sort of an orientation visiting opportunity for you. Normally, we would say free continental breakfast would be included, but you do not seem to have a physical digestive form, which is fine. Um,
Which is fine.
so we offer to you a data burst package of some delightful images you may find enjoyable and some information on our planetary systems. And as you know, we are one of the prime examples of balance in nature here in this system. And you want to make sure that everyone is preserved and as safe as when they stepped, floated, or covered onto our planet.
Oh, Lois.
Well, again, I appreciate the hospitality. Um, but our my primary need right now is to spread out and experience the bounties
Oh,
that.
sure, and we'll get you to that in just a second, dear. We just have some forms that we'd like you to fill out. Maybe a couple of videos you could watch for us. That'd be great.
Sure,
And we'll be
if
happy
you
to
could
move
send
into
them,
an open.
I'll be
Yeah.
happy to view them.
Well, we're a bit old-fashioned here, so we actually have a staging area. It's a bit like an amphitheater. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's got a lot more space than this here landing zone. Um, and then like some of the waves part and make one of those like garden tunnels that like leads down to like a massive, not like half like a baseball diamond shape, that's sort of like domed in an artificial. Are you being viciously attacked over there? You seem very
viciously
Okay.
licked.
and it's got some spa day treatments going on over there. And once we get that all sorted, you'll be happy to go wherever you like. And just keep in mind that there are signposts of where there's a most dangerous situation. We have had a bit of interesting development with our local flora and fauna recently. We want to make sure everyone's as protected as possible.
Of course, and about a third of the balloons float down the tunnel. The other 2/3 stay where they are.
Yeah.
Uh,
And they're like, I understand the need to not have all your sentience in one place, and that's totally understandable and acceptable here on this planet. But we will have to make sure that at least part of you goes through the orientation before we are able to allow you to experience the other delights that our civilization has for you. I hope you don't mind and understand. It's just we have to be careful with new entities. But once you have this just once, then you'll be able to come back and visit whenever you like.
okay.
So what do you want versus what do I want?
So yeah, clearly Ubiquity wants to like spread out
Mhm.
and to get through this orientation thing
Sure.
as quickly as their machine mind is capable of, which is very fast.
Yeah. Very, very fast.
And I I think that there's like you see like filed with by Jacqueline on through the mindscape is not a contact request, but sort of this like legalese document that covers the like the potential delay and how the ship carrying the terraforming device is similarly pausing in its progress towards the planet while these potentially minor matters are cleared up.
Sure.
What
And
is-
then I would send back an equally, like, depending on what the role, an equally legally is that I specifically said after the terraformer is in place, then they are available to visit, but all are welcomed. And I'm sure we could work out what happens. So my thing is I need to delay long enough to like energy tag them, this entity, to make sure they don't drift too far where they are not welcome.
Okay.
Like basically like sync their consciousness imprint into my mental network to put up memory barriers, or like make sure it's like the thing where you have like key cards to go places. Like they'll have key cards to go places, but I want to make sure they don't accidentally drift anywhere.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that is like they'll have access, of course, everyone does, but I want to make sure they're safe and I'm safe and everyone else is safe.
Okay. So just to make sure that they're
Even me?
tracked and that they don't access anywhere they shouldn't.
Yeah, because that's the trait I got last time was overprotective. Idealistic and overprotective. Those are my challenges. So that
Okay.
the fact that it's causing me troubles now is it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well. Okay, so I guess I have a couple of questions. Do you do you want a point of experience? Like, do you want this overprotectiveness to like be inherently problematic.
I think it is. I mean, I think that's just the situation, is that it's delaying the terraformer from getting to my planet. Like that's what's happening right now. If you're talking about in future roles, I didn't know that was a thing. I thought it was during. I didn't realize we had to keep it a problem. It would just come up sometimes.
Well, okay, so it doesn't.
What's going on over there?
I mean, this could just be a matter of taking reasonable precautions. In which case, it wouldn't be worth an experience point. It would be just like you, it would just be played out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're seeking that point of experience, then I'll find a way to
make it more inconvenient.
Make it, yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'll have to think about, like, I'll have to decide now how Aerothin feels about the capitalists, because as far as we've played out so far, is they've been as standoffish as they have been with everyone else. So, is this situation, the delaying items and the, like, infiltration balloons, I know they're not that, but is it enough to make Aerothin trigger that overprotective thing? And I think it has to be, because every resource roll that I've done that's failed, that was even slightly dangerous, I've said, oh no thanks. So I think that's what I'll have to do. Yeah, I think I have to make it inconvenient, because that's the way I've played.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It definitely has to be like a detriment. In this situation, at least.
Okay.
Yeah. Because first, I mean, that's
okay.
I protect my people.
Okay.
So
that aside, is there anything on the essentially? Is there anything on the organizational scale, like organizational moves that you want to pull off in this situation, or shall we just wind it up and move on?
There's not a there are things to attack people, and I think.
But you want to like build up more of a defense?
Yeah, I want to like build up my defense, and there's, I mean, unless resist outside influence, would that? No, that's a reaction to somebody moving on you. So
pretty much.
I think for now there's no move that I can do.
I mean, you could
give an ultimatum.
You could restructure and add in order to add a organizational descriptor that will make you better at resisting outside influence. But you may not want to do something that drastic. You could try to like counter infiltrate, or like. Or possibly like assert some sort of political pressure to.
What's manufacturer consent? That's where you both. Is that for?
That's where you.
For PC stuff.
Well, you can do it on NPCs. It's where you try and convince somebody that doing what you want is in their best interest.
Okay.
Or that is their duty.
I think that's the closest thing. The character sheets. Some of the windows aren't expandable anymore, so I'm trying to find the need that I have, like the notes I have on my organization, and I'll just copy paste it into like a no Word document.
Oh, I see. Huh.
Yeah.
What's that about? Well, that's something I'll have to fight with later.
That's coding stuff, on that. Yeah, I think I can't manufacture consent. I could. So what would that be like? What could I do with that? They do as asked, unless or until some fact or action betrays the reason you gave them. You need leverage or evidence. Well, I don't think that would work because I don't have like evidence of not trusting them.
I mean, you have your reasoning seems pretty sound though, right? Like you need to protect everybody in the city and like general protocols and rules and stuff like that. So you can just cite your rules as evidence, or you can.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I guess I'm manufacturing consent.
Okay. Yeah, I think that you have made
to
enough of a
prevent-
case for that to apply.
Yeah, to prevent that. Okay. Also, my morale is a 6, not a 7, for some reason. Oh no! See, there it is. There it is for you.
Awesome.
Yeah, congratulations.
I mean,
Okay,
you deliver
well-
as promised. Green or blue or whatever it is, black and then red.
Yeah.
Roller coaster,
All the color.
exactly.
Yeah, just it's that log ride splash.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that that third of the balloons do in fact go down your the tunnel to the other staging area, so that they can.
I think they go through the orientation and then like, okay, you did it, and it releases, and they can just visit the place as anyone else would.
Okay. So yeah, I think that I think what I need to do is just make a note.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, everyone, be nice and be considerate, and then you're like, yes, I will do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But as a balloon. So, hold on. A big gray balloon. Going like this.
Yes.
Oh,
totally.
I can see it now.
Also, this is my new dog.
Aww.
Oh yes.
I mean, the red eyes are slightly unsettling.
Just the right amount.
Just the right
He's got
amount of
tiny little
unsettling.
flappy arms. And little flappy legs.
Woof.
Arr.
Other
Things with floppy arms are the best, like meatbones.
Mm-hmm. I don't
the
have
dinosaur
anything with
thing?
floppy arms.
Talking to Atalaska.
What was the question?
Was that the dinosaur thing with sunglasses talking to Atalaska?
Oh, yeah. Oh, crap, do I have sunglasses? I know I have Stilla shades, I think, for the reason, but I don't think I have.
Oh yes, Delon Maximus.
I am so cool.
Let me just
Sort
drink
of
this
like that,
hot-
only it needs more frills.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because he has he's an animal uplift of a frilled lizard.
Yeah.
I remember this now.
I'm sitting here like, how can I make frills in the next few minutes? Hold on.
Find out now on my next tutorial.
In the meantime, Brad is busy ominously scribbling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
And then he goes off to skateboard down Mount Olympus or something. It's
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that the last thing that we see, sort of in this scene, is the balloons are check out, and they're allowed to they you have their positions all marked, and they pass the quarantine and start to spread out throughout the city. And once they have, they start they rather than just being like these just being like this blank silver or quicksilver, they start showing ads that are keyed specifically to the people who are looking at them.
I knew it.
But they're
technically following everything I said. Technically.
and it's not like they're projecting the ads, it's just that their outer surface happens to look like this commercial.
Yeah. And it's very advanced. It's not just like a commercial like buy this thing. It's like, oh, you're eating this kind of sandwich. Here's the kind of sandwich that I like, and it's all like shiny and extra saturated and yeah.
And just like
you said it was a bit ubiquity? That's its name?
ubiquity, yes.
I see that your kid has problems with bedwetting. I happen to have the perfect solution for bedwetting.
Yeah. When I was in immortal form, I also had problems with that.
Yeah.
Consider, like,
Horrible. I already hate this capitalist.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing. Like you you see them go on, you're like, oh, okay, and then they start showing these ads, and you're like, you can sense like your profit influence dropping as you walk around and you keep seeing them.
I feel like it's more like it's not even my profit dropping, because they do whatever profits them, and then I profit of them doing something profitable, right? That's fine. But
Sure.
just the fact that they know that my baby is bedwetting is a little unsettling. I'm the one with all the information,
The information is right there on the Mindscape. I mean,
I have the monopoly on information, and they can't just start. I mean, sure, if they have some information, cool on them, but I had the information first, and I can use it, and they can definitely not use it against me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The fact that there are things that maybe you suspected to know about people you've been working with on this planet, and then like they just say it, and you're like, how did they know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I can't use that information anymore for something, and
Yeah.
they're showing me ads of stuff that I don't want them to know about me necessarily, or at least my agent doesn't want them to know it about them.
Yeah.
So, Adalaska, can you hear us? You're circling.
Well, we'll give them a minute.
No. Alaska, don't leave us.
Okay. Aha! Welcome back.
Ha.
Mm-hmm.
So where we left off with you was there was Delon Maximus talking you up and making deals.
Mm-hmm.
In your infinite
But-
club.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Infinite,
I have a thing to pitch.
large Hadron roller derby club.
Yes. I have a thing to pitch. So I have a shiny new move that I got from an advance called biohacking. And I want to actually maybe fix a problem for once. I
Oh.
want to I want to take my team of engineers that's been fusing radioactive materials on this planet, and I want to modify their DNA so that, or maybe like replace their genetic sequence with a different system of genetic coding so that their genetics can't be modified by radiation.
Okay. Well, they did have a they had petitioned for an audience with you via the Mindscape as of last session, I believe. So yeah, they definitely want to meet with you, and that might not be what they want to discuss, but you can certainly discuss it. And let me refresh myself on the on that move because I have not looked at it since I wrote it.
Also, my Roll20 window isn't responding, so the elves are churning away, trying to get that back online.
Okay. Yeah, mine has been has occasionally complained that.
I just before we move too far away, Adalaska, I may call on you soon to deal with this aesthetic blemish upon my culture.
Oh, that's just fine.
Okay.
That's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, no worry. He'll just terraform the whole place and make it pretty.
It's like
And
what
they'll
if it was
terraform all of the
fuchsia?
people.
It's like,
I mean, I'm sure you can find a way.
yeah. This tree should be mauve. No.
This person should be red.
Yes.
Like
a
so, would you be having the where do you want to meet with the engineers, or how? Because I mean, you could just do it via Mindscape.
So I am not going to waste any time. I'm going to have them meet in whatever would be what would a suitable place be to hack someone's genetic code?
A Roman bathhouse.
Yeah. Well, I think that you probably have plenty of like body shops, like distributed throughout the city. You might have one somewhere on in the club. I mean, plenty of people would want to would find it convenient to be able to put on the body that they want before going out dancing.
I'm going to up the stakes even more, and I'm going to make a show to everyone that we're going to fix the radiation problem, and I'm just going to bring in my engineers, and I'm going to start making people immune to radiation.
Okay, so you're meeting with them at one of the body shops and making a big announcement that they're going to be first, but it's going to be everybody
in the particle accelerator roller derby ring around the whole planet. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Infinite club.
So they well, okay. Are you arranging to come in after they've arrived, or vice versa?
They'll meet me.
Okay. So they file in respectfully, and you can tell that for engineers, they've made an effort to try to meet your sense of aesthetics, but it's a little off. It's not, I mean, you can see the effort, but they're They're just not there.
So, one question and one assertion. The question first: are any of my engineers already infiltrated? Are any of these engineers Roger's intelligence agents?
So if
Or
you're not
capitalists.
construct, or no, what do you call them?
Composition.
Composition. If you're not a
composition,
composition, then I have agents. If
Mhm.
you want them, if you want an agent to be present, that's up to you. Like I didn't mind either way. You want me
Okay,
in your
okay.
scene or not?
I think it's interesting to have
Okay.
an undercover agent being able to see
Okay,
this.
totally. Then it
Mhm.
is it is totally one of those horribly, like, wrongly, but try to make an effort dressed people.
hmm
Well, one of those that made an effort, but they didn't know what they were doing style wise. It's just wrong.
hmm So I'm looking over all of them, and maybe
Oh.
instead of all of them being slightly off, it's just this one agent who's been trying to fit in. So I'm just
Maybe.
walking across a lot of them. I'm like maybe looking for
and I should I should fill in a couple of things.
Sure.
The name of the group I think we decided was Decadence Redefined.
Okay. Cool.
And the the way in which like you've dealt with them before, and so normally and in the past they haven't even made an effort to meet with the aesthetics. You all hold like
Probably my guys knew.
Mhm.
This is an autocracy, right? So
Is it?
I mean, it's a like a what? Okay, let's.
I thought I outlawed that. What happened? Nope, it's still
Well,
not toxic.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's yes, it's ad hoc and distributist, and information is open, but it is a totalitarian autocracy. Uh, so most people would by default kowtow completely and go off of like a posted style sheet to make sure that they're exactly on point if they're actually meeting with you.
Mhm.
In the past, Decadence Redefined has like not bothered to do that. They just like have considered themselves indispensable because they pull off these projects that improve the appearance of the world overall, and they do.
Mhm.
artists.
Yeah.
Am
And
I right?
sometimes, exactly. And sometimes they manage to surprise me,
Yeah.
and sometimes they manage to disappoint me.
Uh, so as they file in, let's.
I think the problem with my agent is that, he tried to improve upon the checklist. Like, he didn't just follow the this is how you dress checklist. He followed it and was like, you know what? I think I'll score extra points if I add my own flair to it.
hmm
Uh,
But instead of taking the time to match with the others, he didn't like go the extra mile to like even with this design. Um,
Oh no, he went the extra mile. He just doesn't have taste. He just loves blue and orange. He thinks
Mhm.
they look wonderful together. Might be because or no, it was I decided it was a she. It might just be because she's colorblind. Who knows? What do you mean that doesn't work together?
Like they're matching colors but not materials.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So I'm like doing the whole like I've got like a white glove and you're a dusty
Mhm.
table sort of thing,
Surface.
and I'm just like looking all over, up and down, and I am going to like pull her aside and take the time to like redress her.
She goes totally red. She's like, sorry, sir, you don't like it?
It simply doesn't match here. And this is like an extremely uncomfortable like situation because like there's like a complete nudity thing going on where there's just nothing
Oh,
whatsoever and like
yeah,
completely dressed. Yeah.
well,
and
yes, if you think
the
it's better this way. She goes like very red.
Mhm.
and one of the other members of Decadence says, uh, Citizen Alaska, I realize that there is a certain what ambiance that you prefer to maintain, and we would not wish to violate that. But I think that this may be a little bit inappropriate. I don't know. I don't want to push on that. However,
Hold on, I'm almost finished, and I'm like starting to pull like buttons through buttonholes, and they're
No,
like
it's
these
fine.
square buttons.
Whatever the citizen wants, I'm happy to be of service.
yes. Well,
Beautiful.
we could institute a Gethulot set up so as to prevent this being a problem in the future. In which case, uh, um, people would be sheltered from view while changing to fit your aesthetics. We submitted a paper on it, but I'm not sure if you had a chance to take a look. Anyway,
Yes, that's not a
I'm sure
bad
I did.
idea. I mean, if you think it's not a if you think it's a good idea, right?
um, but that of course is up to you. There's uh, that is not the proposal we wish to present at this time. Um, More importantly, and on a much more glorious scale, he says, sort of with this grin, because
Mhm.
you know, well, I don't know if Adalaska remembers, but this guy's name is Winter Graves Glory. Uh, we think we have found a a way to make sure that uh, the energy inputs to the planet uh, are always always fulfilled, and to bring a great new light to the system. There's uh, we've gone over the equations and are confident that we could induce a deuterium tritium reaction within Terminus, which is the gas
Yeah.
giant that Libra is a moon of, um, uh, to create not just any kind of fusion reaction, but one that could be where the color of the light produced could be uh, uh, could be defined and altered on the fly.
Mhm. So I'm
They're gonna blow up the sun, aren't they?
Are there aliens on Terminus?
I'm sorry?
Or was that the other game? Sorry. I was wondering if there was a sentient species on Terminus, or if that was the other The one shot we did. I can't remember if it was this game or that game. See, that's like the same map. I'm like, I thought maybe it was the other game. Sorry.
But I don't know.
I almost
kinda
seem
like
to
the
remember
idea.
there being
So,
aliens on Terminus. But in any case, I'm so they're going to tell me about what's happening.
Yeah,
and
I
I'm going
think-
to be like, no, show me the rendition. And I'm like looking in the mindscape, waiting for them to pass me the artist rendition, which they should just obviously have if they're ready to show me stuff.
yeah, and they have a model because they've modeled it extensively.
Mhm.
And let's see.
So it starts off with Terminus looking the way that it does now,
Mhm.
and then we get the after picture. What does the after picture look like in this example?
Disco ball.
So, so it shows it as giving off light, and it's like a a fairly complex light. It's not like uniform,
Mhm.
and there's definitely been a lot of effort to make sure that it does in fact complement the overall tones and colors of Labra.
Mhm.
I guess you can decide whether or not it does so perfectly or not.
I think Adalaska thinks it does, and I think he says, "How long have you been working on this? The spectrum harmonics are distributed perfectly."
Uh, well, there's been quite a few trillion processor cycles devoted to it, I can assure you.
Marvelous. How I'm flabbergasted. How soon until we can get started?
Oh, well, we have in the process of testing and modeling, we've put some resources in place. So we could begin the process immediately.
But only if it pleases the Lord, of course.
Well, yes, of course.
So I'm looking between the two of them, and I like look back at the agent, who I don't know is an agent, and I'm like, yes. Let's begin this immediately. And I'm just like completely forgetting about
Yes,
the
to
biohacking
work,
at
people.
all. Like you're not getting thank you for doing this for me. You're not getting protection from radiation, not yet.
Complete this first, then maybe I'll remember.
In like
Another
a decade
10 years isn't
or so.
going to kill anyone.
Yeah,
It's fine.
exactly.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna meet with Quasi
yeah.
again, and then it's gonna bring back old memories, and then I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I remember when I was thinking about giving everybody immunity to radiation sickness. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
And
A
then
little
the
bit
The
of
population has died.
you know,
I mean,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it will definitely start happening the time people's hair start falling out, because that's just not pretty.
I mean, is it?
I mean, that
as long as
that
it
is
falls out
entirely up to
artistically.
your ecstatic wishes and things. Like I would not wish to assume that I can encroach upon that.
Adalaska is just ecstatic. we must. And he starts to like process through his mind, because like there's like a fairly dense like haze of like glowing glowing effluvia like floating around the planet. And I'm like calculating in my mind if those frequencies are going to pierce through our atmosphere in the right ways. And I'm thinking it's going to add a nice glow to it and make it look different. And if I can just change it, then that's great too. Which is perfect.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll all work perfectly.
I have utter faith that it will. Let's talk resources. Do you need more funding to execute this project?
Well, there may be a few minor things that will be necessary. But
But surely for a great lord like yourself, that's not a problem, right?
Consider it done.
He's like, you want more money? Well, only if you. Yes, I will. Here, give this. You take this money.
okay.
They impressed me. I'm very easy to convince.
Really?
Okay. This is a long-term project. Let me see. It'll definitely have a dangerous flaw, of course. And it let me see. I don't think it's going to actually cost resources in the sense of woofy. But let me see. Will you actually need anything from Capstone?
It's basically like he's talking to like there's 3 people. One of them is on his team, one of them is on Capstone's, and one of them is on Roger's team. Like there's spies just up.
Here's more money. I need experience. Take all my money.
Oh, I know. Let's pull up out Alaska and oh yes. Well, we would need to repurpose some uh, some processing materials that are currently being used for uh, some sort of drab medical purpose.
Do they say it exactly like that?
Yeah,
Some sort of drab medical purpose.
But nothing that would directly affect aesthetics, of course. I mean, we wouldn't want to rob an important Peter to pay Paul, just an incidental one.
I think Labra is heading on a vector where medical expenses will be a thing of the past.
Excellent. Then we will, by your leave, proceed immediately.
Excellent. This has been a frictionless affair.
Yes. Thank you.
We are glad that your lord is happy with the process.
Okay, so let's do a long-term projects roll.
Excellent.
Well, would you like help with that, sir?
Uh, yes, they would.
Okay. So yeah, want to do a aid or interfere? And do you want to aid or interfere?
Well, if you want to interfere, you don't have to do anything. You just
I mean, let me look at what was my bond with you again. I wanna. What will keep Alaska busier if this succeeds or if this fails? What
Oh,
will
definitely
keep
busier if
his...
it fails. I mean, that doesn't mean that the project stops. It just means that things go wrong. There's additional
Then I want to
complications.
interfere.
Oh, okay.
And I will interfere regardless of whether this fails because I want to see if they notice me interfering.
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay.
Because as long as Alaska is busy with this, they're not busy with the gigantic sex robot.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, success or failure, you both get a experience point market. Okay.
Partial success.
Excellent.
Ooh, partial success on aid or interfere is interesting.
It's the most interesting thing you could have rolled.
Huh.
Cool. I like interesting things. Where do I mark experience?
Near the bottom.
Down at the
above
bottom.
notes.
Bottom.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. 1 experience out of 5.
If the interfering PC gets 7 to 9, and the acting PC's modified roll results in 6-, they're so you're still free of negative consequence.
Damn it.
But I mean
I'm
it
fine
could
with
have gone
taking a
wrong,
negative
and
consequence.
you did it anyway out of pretty much out of out of romantic jealousy and spite. So yeah, definitely still get your take your.
I mean, like, I feel like it'd be more interesting if something like if there is a complication.
Okay.
Either like Alaska realizes something, or
Or maybe if I just think it's suspicious that that one of my engineers is being not only professional but like actively like praising me. Like I'm not used to like I don't demand worship. Like I demand like that people like do what I want them to do. And respect
like
my ideas.
maybe later you see her and you see her talking to somebody else. Just as you're coming by to see how the project goes or something along those lines, and you notice that she's not like when she was talking to you, she had this disposition like with the shoulders a bit like forward, a little hunched, very shy and a little bit stuttering. But when you see her talk to one of her underlings in the other place, she's shoulders wide, complete control, like you do that, maybe she's being stern to somebody who's not delivering excellent work. She seems to be complete control of herself. And then the moment she notices you, she's, oh, sir, yeah, is there any way I can help you? And maybe that, tips you off that maybe, I don't know, either she is really like impressed by your presence, that she changes from confident and, certain to, yes.
Well, I so totally
there's something
don't recognize that.
Okay, perfect.
But I like the opportunity that I could have if I weren't at Alaska.
Yeah. One of us would have killed you by now, and another one would have had a talk. Who's to say which one's which?
I mean, I couldn't guess. I mean, I've been with you guys for very long, and still, this is such a hard guess for me.
Not even scientists know, which is why Atalaska is just.
Exactly.
So I think what happens is that the rest of the team is sort of concerned that you're going to change your mind later. So they begin the ignition. They begin the ignition immediately. Like there's still some things to be worked out, but hey, once it's going, there's no going back. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Are they also doing the things like, oh, we have this credit card. Let's buy a bunch of stuff we may need in the future and just stockpile it for now. Since they have access to a bigger budget. That's the thing that a lot of, not saying a lot, but research facilities and certain people are known to do.
Yes, that's true.
They never know when the whims of
Yeah, and I'm
Atalaska may
probably
shift.
like outwardly not participating in that, but like on the level below, she's like, what would be so useful if we had that, in the coffee area or whatever. We really need whatever. But obviously, yeah, we can't ask Adalaska. That would be folly.
Okay. I think the way it plays out is not that they run up not that they impinge on your resources, but instead we see Wintergrave's Glory talking with Delon Maximus, saying, yes, we would be happy to provide you with access to the medical equipment that we're repurposing in return for those in return for control of the remote operable mechs to defend the station at the stations at point A, B, and C.
That's cool.
You're so chill with everything going wrong around you. Like, Brad's like, I've released some balloons. I'm like, wait, hold on. Let me investigate the balloons.
And I'm just like, cool. Mercury balloons. Your atmosphere must be really dense. Yes. Excellent.
And I need to.
Do you GM as well? Because I can totally imagine you saying "excellent," and your players going like, "Oh no."
Yes. Yeah. It's.
I'm just happy with everything, even the horrible monster that comes at
Whenever I
you.
see the quote, I'm like, I'll give you everything you ask for. People are like, stop it, you're evil. No. I've definitely I wouldn't say broken some of my players before, but yeah. Because I had a game last night where I introduced, I'm running a Chalt game, Tomb of Annihilation, and I rolled on the table, and it was sea hags, but in the Meaty Bones universe, there are a thing called river hags, who are chaotic neutral instead of evil. So they've just offered some of the people suffering from the death, there's sort of like a sidecar soul as a deal. And they're like, we've been nothing but sweet to y'all. And everyone's like, "Ugh, I know meta. I know I hate hags, but in this universe, it's
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. I'm excited. I love it.
Perfection.
They're not hags. They're friendly crones.
They all look
And
like
they're-
Ruth Nega.
They all look like
so-
what?
Ruth Nega. She's from Preacher. She's Tulip.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. 'Cause
I see.
we played a game a while ago where for some reason, all of our icon pictures were all Ruth Nega. It just, it just happens like that sometimes. So I had those pictures on my Roll20, so I'm like, oh, I might as well use these. Because hags disguise themselves as beautiful maidens, so
Mm-hmm.
worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Strongly.
Okay, so to go completely off topic further,
Sorry.
I have
Something-
mixed feelings
I'm
about
listening.
yeah. About that show in that it's and specifically Ruth Negga, like she's like what she brings to that character is really great.
Mm-hmm.
But she seems very not just in looks, but in like attitude, very different from the Tulip of canon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a geek, so I want canon.
You're not mad. You're just disappointed. Or are you mad?
No, I'm not mad. And I don't know. I'd probably be more up to date, and it probably wouldn't be an issue if it wasn't so much of a issue for my significant other, who is as much of a geek and wants it to be canon and doesn't want the show to be so mean, even though it's supposed to be. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So,
Pods, goddesses,
yes,
planets,
yes.
destruction.
Quasi, where do you want to wake up?
Well, where are we on the rolling for? Trying to, at the very least, try and delay the respawn of the other quasis, and also I'm not going down with the ship. I'm like jumping out the windscreen of the last minute like a badass.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure, you can certainly do that. So you're on an escape pod.
I was. I mean, romantically speaking, I'd like to just be like, flying through the vacuum of space because I can survive out there in my suit.
Oh, okay. Well, even
So
better.
I'd like literally like blow a hole in the thing 2 seconds before it explodes, and then like not look at the explosion from space.
And then put sunglasses on your spacesuit.
Yeah. No. You bring the visor down. That's the the little like gold bit that comes down. I've done this before. So yeah, that's how I.
Why do I believe that?
I mean, obviously not in like reality. I just mean
Yo, obviously not.
Okay. So, I don't know if we established where where in the system your ship was?
Mm-hmm. We didn't know where we were. We were just on the way to New Fluo, but I don't think we.
I
had
thought
the
it was
exact
somewhere
pinpoint.
like around here.
Oh, hold on a second.
Because my people went to meet them on, and that's just where I pictured them.
There. Okay.
Oh, and I remembered there were people on Terminus. They were gas giant people. I don't know if they were dwellers. I don't know if we did I know that was something we were talking about a bit ago, and I don't know if we did decide, but I've just remembered that there definitely were
See, that's what I was thinking too.
dweller people.
Okay.
And I didn't want to fuck them up because I like dwellers. Sorry to be on a tangent within the tangent, but at least it's a tangent to do with the actual show that we're on. So no, I mean, does it matter? Because I'm not. It can be where it makes sense for the story to be.
Sure. Yeah. I think that you're probably still on a trajectory for New Fluo because the ship that you hopped off of was heading that direction. So you'll like even in space without without like ship level propellant, you'll still get there. But you're several million kilometers away from the planet in deep space, and there is just an explosion, and I don't. Yeah,
I have a ship in the area.
that's true.
I was gonna just like smash onto the windscreen of a random ship and then bust in there, kill everyone, and be like, "Well, this is my new ship."
That works.
I mean, how do you think I got the first one?
Buying it off of.
I'm wondering. I thought you were
No.
talking before the show about like changing directions and taking a hard look at your life.
From another
So
ship.
But that's a process.
That starts with murdering people in a random ship.
Mm-hmm. I mean, once again, murdering's not that bad in this. It's not that bad. It's like have a nap, friend. Wake up feeling great.
I mean, it's
Lose a couple
probably
memories.
gonna cost people
Fine.
resources at the very least.
It's post scarcity. There are
Potentially
no resources.
memories,
The only thing you
like
have to spend-
Memories,
Could
yeah.
It's
easily
only
cost
recent.
them treasured memories.
Well, I mean, drugs do that, and they're great. So, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I think there is still a difference between getting murdered and taking drugs, but might just be me.
Well, that's because you've not been to the goddess yet. You see, you'll understand after.
I see.
Okay. So, are you trying to take Erethan's ship? Or
Oh no, we
no.
like them. They were quite pleasant. They helped us out. We had a moment. It was no.
I
Just
offered them limbs. Right, you're missing an arm and a leg.
Yeah, I am also missing an arm and a leg. I'm real good at. Also, even if you gave me a -2 for missing an arm and a leg, I'd have still nailed that roll. So don't. I see the look in your eye.
But it doesn't look like you're missing an arm and a leg because you're wearing the spacesuit.
That's
Yeah.
true.
But like an arm and a leg are like floppy on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's power servos and stuff, so they're just more limp.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I mean, I quite like the idea of spending a week floating through the void of space. But I mean, once again, where are we on that? Trying to stop or delay respawning before I heroically jump out. Heroically.
Yeah, well, I mean, even in the middle of deep space, you do still have access
Sure,
to
I've
the
got the Wi-Fi.
mindscapes. So
Yeah, okay.
yeah. So yeah, you can.
Well, I guess
you can
I
do
like
that
do
while
one of
floating
these.
around.
No, one of these.
Yeah. Just one
I
of
guess
those.
I could program the suit motors to like make it look like.
Probably.
So that would definitely be compromise security. And I think there's like actually like a numeric penalty somewhere in here. If not, I don't know if it's on the compromise security or on the. Oh wait, I'm sorry. It's search for exploits first, and then compromise security follow up. And I think accessing this is not where there's the penalty. It's in trying to do something as drastic as uh, deleting or delaying uh, resleeving. That's where the system will be unhappy with you, or potentially unhappy with you. Just
well, I
looking
was
around
looking at results, and it said one thing was to edit a piece of information. So the piece of information I could edit would say be how long it waits before you reset spawn. I could set it to like 1,000 years or something, and that's like editing a piece of information. And also just try and power game this as hard as my little socks will allow me. Can I get a bonus because it's like my system? You know, I have all the passwords, all the biometrics. They are my
if
problem.
it's well, I mean, okay, so your system on the ship is blown up, right? It's
Well,
trying
I
to
guess that
keep
as
them
in
from
their-
receiving anywhere.
Sure, but their data is my intellectual property. I have the codes to their mind states. Their mind states belong to me. And also, I did want
think
to do this role
that
before this blew up.
I think
originally.
perspective that they're your property is very much subjective. Like as far
mean, they are.
as far as greater society, as meta society is concerned, they are sentient. And thus they do the protections of anybody else.
Oh, I'm gonna. So you're saying just a +1 rather than a +2? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that there's no penalty to search for exploits.
I tried so hard to hornswoggle it there. Apparently, did I push the right one even?
That
gonna
was
search
compromise
for
security rather than search for exploits, but it's the same. Actually,
Is it
no,
the
it's
same?
not the same role.
Okay.
Search is synthesis, and I believe that compromise is. Let me verify that because we can maybe just keep the same role, but I'm not certain.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Oh no, okay. So yeah, compromise is focus. So it's a different role. Okay.
Should I push the
So
button again?
do search for exploits first.
Huh. Oh my! Wow, that's oof. Okay, see you next week, guys. I had my one good roll for the whole campaign, so I'm okay.
For all
Okay.
those 12s we had, let's just go back and look at them real quick. Just so many greens, and then they started.
Oh no, I did have two. I'm being too hard on the game. I did have two good rolls today, so that's nice. So what? Explain this to me, Brad.
Okay, so you access the like the system that in term the sort of the planet like planet size computers made completely of computronium that
as we all know,
that aren't necessarily located in the Amaranth system, but vaguely nearby, that handle the resleeving of dead people, and you do get access long enough for their predictive computers to identify what it is that you're trying to do. And some flags are thrown, and Hmm. And I think you get a uh, highest priority Mindscape call.
Oh dear.
Highest.
Highest?
Oh,
Didn't even know that there was a priority that high. Like,
I
Prismatic
give
level.
it 3 dings, and then I answer. 3
okay.
dings. Once again, hurtling through.
And they're loud dings too.
Buongiorno!
And I'm trying to establish if I already have a person who's
Recruit. I mean, we're 5 minutes
okay.
before official ending time.
Yeah, yeah.
If you
Well,
wanted
okay.
to,
This
could be a perfect
this
cliffhanger.
This is the um yeah so the contact is from an organization a committee chair. And the committee itself is the Holistic Organization of Amaranth Autarchs. And what you know about them is uh, mostly uh, they've like discussed what to do to contain the actions of Atalaska. They were formed in the wake of the whole fluo incident. And let's see. I'd like to like as last thing throw up some sort of visual image of what the chairperson looks like, and we'll actually like uh, detail them next session. But I'm sure I can. Uh,
do they,
oh yeah, let's
do
go
they
with
look
that.
like a cat covered in baby chicks? Is that
Yes,
their
yes,
aesthetic?
they are a cute little fluffy bunny. Uh, I think that they.
Are they scree? I played a character in Eschaton one shot who was a human who grew up with rabbits.
Nice.
It was cool.
I was not able to play her the way I wanted at all. I wanted her to be way more amoral. Or not amoral, but like
I wanted her to
different
be
moral.
worse.
No, I wanted her to be much more like uncivilized, right? Much more of a I don't understand social rules
Mm-hmm.
other than the ones that, the rabbits have. But it was a nice learning experience either way. That was a crazy episode.
Yeah. Fun with that one. Well, I mean, I generally have fun with this game because I made it. Ah!
It's a good game.
Yeah, and it's a role-playing game. But no, they look more like Mecha Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
And of course, but they'll be friendly as a fluffy bunny for sure.
Certainly.
So, I wonder if anybody would like to talk about the cool things that they are up to on the internet or elsewhere.
What? No, your chair's going to... Hey! You get to go first because you're the guest.
Okay.
I don't have anything to do on the internet, so.
Okay.
Hence my disappearing.
Well,
don't you play a Sunday? Didn't I?
That is not a stream thing. That's just
Well, also thank you so much for
Thank you for having me. I
joining
had
us.
fun.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yay.
Can be a spy again.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next week, because next
And
week
mess with all of your business. I will have that goddess. She will be mine.
you'll need a neural network and a goddess, and then you'll just combine them.
Yeah.
Oh, that
That might already be the
we
case.
need
I
to
don't
talk
know.
later.
Okay, I get it. It took me. I mean, that'd be interesting and really scary.
You're all welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sure that the goddess will reach out and enrich everybody's life in the system. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be glorious.
Or rip everyone's life out of the system. And there's,
That.
the pronunciation has been lost in time.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's just the Doppler effect, though.
Yeah. She may do that, but there are things that are worse than death. So maybe she won't be that merciful.
Good.
Good. Yeah.
Look, in space, you're always moving really fast, is what I'm saying. So
You're
if
always
you're
plummeting towards death and destruction.
no, I mean like in space, you're always moving really fast because that's how space works. So when you say
relative to something,
they get distorted, and they get really high in pitch because you're moving closer, or lower in pitch because you're moving farther away.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
I'm Tina Dazer on Twitter. I'm on all the things eventually. I'm on the Posh Panda at twitch.tv. That's the Posh Panda. It was fun having you play. And next week, I'm so hyped. I just want to play all the games all the time. Save me a game, play it. Play games.
Games.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Adam / Dark Lavender Void. I have gotten 1 hour of sleep in the past 24 hours.
Nope.
And I make games about eldritch horrors and reality TV shows. And we might be playing that next week. And
yes.
It's going to be a grand old time.
Yes.
Yeah, I am looking forward to mortally bankrupting myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have no money.
For an audience of eldritch horrors.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be great.
And I'm Spook. If you're a qualified masseuse and you'd like a human toilet, then email me at hillsucker0@gmail.com.
Okay. And I'm Brad. I host this channel on on twitch.tv/rpglory and mixer.com/rpglory. And there are archives at youtube.c/rpglory, and you can yell at me on Twitter at rpglory DOTCOM. I'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific for we're gonna do D&D. At long last, we're going back to D&D. Lords of Chaos campaign that has previously featured. There's it's previously featured a number of risque things involving drow and parties that aren't adventuring parties but more like sex parties and pirates and and graft and politics, most evilly politics, and then on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. Hopefully, we'll go back to Monsters and Other Things. We'll see. And then again next week, Mortally Bankrupt.
The overlays for Monsters and Other Things are really good.
Thank you. So
Miss Childish there.
Yeah.
Monsters and other stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Things
Monsters,
and stuff.
children included.
Yeah. So thank you so much, everybody. If you're watching this and enjoyed it, please, and haven't already, please subscribe, follow, whatnot, depending on the platform. I would, and share even. I would very much appreciate it.
Hit the bell for notifications.
Yeah, that too. It's right.
Heel Sucker 0.
Well, no, I guess it's somewhere in far that direction, probably. I don't know. Bye.
Somewhere around.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.